Let's make some apple cinnamon rolls. Me and my grandfather picked some apples, and I made a apple cobbler earlier with the apples, and I had some left over, so I decided to make some apple cinnamon rolls. That's my sourdough bread dough that has already risen once and ready to be turned into cinnamon rolls. So I kneaded it a little bit, and then after I kneaded it, I rolled it out into a large rectangle, as you do when you're making cinnamon rolls. I should have put a little more flour on the board, but I made it work. There we go with the rolling pin. You see me roll and I don't even, what am I talking about? Something Weird Al, I guess. Anyway, just keep rolling it out until you have a sufficient thickness for your cinnamon rolls. This made a fair amount of cinnamon rolls. I probably used more than a third of my recipe, probably used 2/3 of my recipe of sourdough bread. And there's a video about me making the sourdough bread somewhere in my list of videos. And after we get a rectangle, or pretty close to a rectangled, and then brush all that with melted butter. As soon as I get the butter melted and find the brush to brush it on with and do all that, we can just stare at this dough. We'll just stare at it. We'll watch it rise again. You can watch it rise right here as we stare at it. Almost like watching plastic bumpers rust, or grass grow, or paint dry, or any number of other fun tasks. There we go. Finally with the butter. A regular Picasso with this. Just slather it in melted butter. You don't really have to make a pattern. There are no points if you do, because you're just going to bake it anyway. Nobody's going to see this after it's all rolled up. Well, I mean, yeah, not really. They're not going to see this. So, after you get that done, then throw some sugar on there. I'll throw a couple of handfuls. That's just white sugar. As you can tell, because you can't really see it. Could have been for salt for all you know, but it wasn't. It was sugar. And that is cinnamon. I know it's cinnamon because I am making cinnamon rolls. Apple cinnamon rolls. There's the filling I made earlier. And has all those home-picked and processed apples. I may not have said earlier, but I put those apple pieces into vinegar water to keep them from turning brown color. And then I add cinnamon so they'd be brown. Who knows? Then roll all that up. I put a little bit of oil on my hands here to help with the rolling. so it didn't stick to my hands. And I made a nice little roll there. I put a little flour here and there so that it can keep it from sticking, or help keep it from sticking. And there we go. Now all we have to do is cut up the log of cinnamon roll and put it on a greased pan. After we get all these cut up and put on there, we'll let them rise for a few hours until they look about right. I'll probably let these rise for about 2 hours. And I'll just keep slicing until there's no more roll left. That was a long one. And I did finally get done with it. And there's the end of it. So just let that rise for a couple of hours. And then bake them in about 375 degree oven for around 20 minutes or so. Just keep a lookout for them. And then you can top it with a cream cheese icing that I made earlier.